So what's up, guys? One Piece chapter 841, titled "To the East Blue." Cover page was Whitebeard with some goats chewing on his beard. Would have thought that cover page would have been epic if he was still alive. But anyways, let's get into the chapter. I knew this chapter was gonna end, or we were gonna find out about more about Sanji's past, and it was gonna end once we find out how he escaped to the East Blue. And we also found out about Sanji's mom, whereas we see that she was sick and then we see that she was dying. Now, I want to say that we're 100% done with Sanji's backstory, but I still do think like there's a vacant spot, whereas what was Sanji's mom doing all her life? How did she get sick? And what happened during the sickness until death? But yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out about that. I'm guessing we're gonna find out in the future, but as of now, it's safe to say that we're done with Sanji's flashback for now. This chapter was basically a flashback of a flashback. Sanji was having a flashback of a flashback. Episode starts off with Sanji in jail, and when he was a child, he was in jail and he had on the mask, and while he was in jail, they were basically trained. The other brothers were basically training, and a worker would usually bring Sanji fancy food, and the workers would wonder where all this fancy food is going, but no one knew. So it started like rumors of the king's wife, blah blah blah, yada yada. It turned out to be nothing. But we go more into the future, where Sanji goes to one of the guards and asks them for a cookbook. A cookbook and some cooking utensils. I'm guessing he wanted to learn how to cook. And we go into another flashback of Sanji when his mother was still alive, how he used to try and cook for her, but his food was obviously terrible. So that's why he wanted to learn after. He wanted to learn to get better after he got locked up with the mask on his face. And those four dickheads, the four brothers, well, I'm going to say three, because Reiju, she warmed up closer to me in this chapter. The three stooges, those three douches came back in, found out where Sanji was in the jail, and basically took him out and beat him, like as if it wasn't worse or bad enough that he was in jail already with his face in a mask. And they had the key and they could have helped him, but they refused, and they just wailed on him. And while Judge was loving those four, he was neglecting Sanji. Now, in Sanji's flashback, you saw like how he went through so much to cook a meal for his mom, and it was terrible, and how his mom basically put on a face that she enjoyed the meal, even though it was terrible. And Sanji knew it was terrible, but it was the love of it all, which made her say that it tasted good and made her eat the whole dish. And this, I'm thinking this was also a catalyst for him to get better at cooking. And at this time, she was sick and in bed. And she mentioned that if Sanji's father found out where he was, he'd get in trouble. Don't know why. But either way, if you guys have an idea, let me know. Don't know why. So once that was over, Sanji, we go back into the future with Sanji inside the jail cell. Again, this chapter was a flashback of a flashback. So we go back into the flashback of Sanji being in jail. And Reiju comes in after the boys wail on Sanji. Reiju comes in, and basically she didn't like what they did to him, and she basically was still taking care of Sanji medical wise after he was locked up, and even after they beat him. And Reiju was basically saying that those four are basically those three are basically the soldiers that their father won. And I'm guessing she wanted to include her in it. But she has empathy and sympathy that she's hiding inside of her, which the other three doesn't. So those three are the perfect, but in their father's eyes, all four of them are perfect. So we go into Reiju hinting at Sanji that they're going to be crossing the red line soon to do a war 3 weeks from now. And she's basically telling Sanji this is his chance to escape. And she basically bends the bar. That's how strong they were as kids. And the brothers were basically taking down people as well as kids. It was basically this war against the Katsians. Don't know who they are, seem irrelevant. But either ways, on the day of the war, Sanji is escaping, and his father busts him. Sanji reaches up for the key to unlock his mask and unlock his mask, I think. And I think a door or something. They didn't mention of what the other key was for, or what key Sanji was taking. So Judge busts Sanji and tells Sanji's that this way I'm kind of happy that you're gonna run away, because I tried to dispose of you, but with all the being that I am, I couldn't bring myself to kill you, but to lock you away. But now that you want to run away, it's more of a convenience for me. Just one thing, don't ever mention that you're my son or you have any lineage to me. And this made Sanji cry even more. And that guy did some crying, might I say, and some hurting. So after that, we see Reiju telling Sanji this is his chance to escape, and there's this nearby ship, and she basically forces Sanji to get on the ship, and the German 66 left the ship alone because it had nothing to do with their mission, which was the war. So after that, we go into the future. We come back into the future. But before we get into the future, I want to say that Reiju was basically telling Sanji and crying as Sanji was leaving, letting him know that one day you're going to find someone that's going to love you for who you are and take care of you for who you are. Now we go back into the future, into the present, where the three brothers we see walking away after they beat on Sanji. And I'm guessing this is where she still, up to now, she takes care of Sanji, medical-wise, and I'm guessing as a brother, because she basically expressed her gratitude to Luffy those for taking care of Sanji. And we saw in the flashback about how much she cared about Sanji and how much she wanted Sanji to find someone or find some people that cared about her. So I can say from now, we can definitely say Reiju isn't an enemy of the Straw Hats, because those are people that Reiju wanted for Sanji. So to see her go against that, even though she was with that from a child. So I do definitely think she has some other purpose or some betrayal purpose that she's going to betray the family. Because I do think that she holds Sanji higher than the family. Again, she expressed that she have empathy and sympathy. If you guys don't know the meaning of both of them, look them up. Very different words, but sort of like the same meaning. But they're very two powerful words. So Reiju also wanted to know, again, we're in the future. Reiju wanted to know why Sanji hold Zeph so precious to him, even though all he did was work for him as a chef, and that's it. She basically wants to know, and that was the end of that page. Now we go into the final part of this chapter, which was, I want to say anticlimactic, and I want to say I don't care about it, but which was Luffy versus Cracker. Now, this was 11 hours has gone by since Luffy and Cracker started fighting. And we see that Luffy was eating all of Cracker's soldier, and Luffy basically states that Cracker will run out of stamina soon, and Cracker states that Luffy can't eat all of it. So it's a wits of, I want to say, who can last longer. And we also know that 11 hours has gone by and no Gear 4th or Gear 5th. So what's up right there? And I want to say that I can't wait for this to be over, because this could have been a nice fight if it wasn't like stretched out and had so many spaces in it. But I'm kind of like losing interest in it. Luffy versus Cracker, like, it just boils down to an 800 million berry guy. It just boils down to who can eat the most crackers. Like it's at a point where Luffy has to make a statement, or if he don't, he can't go against Big Mom. Definitely, like this was his statement shot. But either ways, I wonder what Luffy did when Gear 4th ran out. What did he do? That was basically Cracker's chance to take him out. So, you guys, let me know what you think. Help me fill out this plot hole. What Cracker did when Luffy went to Gear 4th, because as we see with Luffy versus Doflamingo, Luffy was basically zero. Couldn't do anything. So, yeah. I'm guessing all this plot hole. But again, I'm losing interest in this fight, and I hope it continues next chapter, or else I'm going to lose even more interest. But anyways, guys, going to give this chapter probably 6.5 to 7 out of 10. The flashbacks were good. Wasn't kind of interested in the Luffy versus Cracker. Wasn't interested in. And we all know Luffy has an appetite, like a beast. But either way, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and let me know how you feel about Cracker versus Luffy. Definitely. Are you even interested? But other than that, thanks for watching.